What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package and infrastructure update and daily news report for Tuesday, July 6th. Now, here's what I want to discuss today. First off, there is a big push from lawmakers trying to get additional stimulus into the infrastructure package, and it's having a pretty big pushback from other people as well, from other lawmakers. More moderate Democrats right now say that we do not need additional stimulus. Some are saying that we need to wait. We just need to wait, put a pause on additional stimulus and additional relief to the American people. Let's wait and see how the programs that have been rolling out so far, let's see how they do. Now, some of these programs, the biggest one that is currently being discussed is the child tax credit payments. I want to break this down because this has a pretty big impact, and the implications from this are actually going to be felt across the board on stimulus. Here's what we know. Right now, some are saying that the child tax credit payments of $3,000 and $3,600 per year, these could potentially get extended. And if these get extended, then we need to look at additional stimulus, additional checks, and additional relief to the American people that do not have children, that are being negatively impacted. And these would be people that are lower income earners. These would obviously be people without children, but people that are food insecure, are on the verge of being evicted. Because again, what you need to keep in mind is at the end of this month, the federal eviction moratorium expires, and the CDC has already stated that this would be the final extension of the CDC eviction moratorium. So we do not expect we're going to see another extension unless it comes from your state itself, which some states have already extended it past the 1st of August. So we'll see what happens there. Now, some lawmakers are saying that if we see an extension of the child tax credit payments, that's going to be very beneficial for children and for families. The problem is it doesn't provide any additional relief to the groups outside of that. And these are going to be people on Social Security, people that are younger, haven't actually started a family yet, but are over the age of 18. Individuals are going to be negatively impacted and heavily impacted by this as well, because chances are, at least according to reports, the cost of goods is going to rise. That is not great news. We also know, in addition to the $3,000 and $3,600 child tax credits, which many are calling additional stimulus, right? We are also getting this push from Senator Schumer and two senators out of Oregon that they want to see the American Savers credit, or this American Savers plan, where they give children $500 per year from the age of 0 all the way up to 18. So at the end of 18 years, you would have $9,000 saved up. And that $9,000, you could use 50% of that to go towards college immediately, or you can just save the whole $9,000, and that could be used once you turn 26, and you can take 100% of that money out. You could start a business, start a family, or like they're saying, you can actually buy a home. So that is really good news. Now, in 18 years or whenever, if somebody has $9,000, let's just be honest. $9,000 is not a down payment on a home. $9,000 in some cases, in some areas of the United States, isn't enough to cover closing costs, and that's just as a buyer. And so you look at that, you factor in closing costs, you factor in closing costs. I'm not even going to go into that, but they could be substantial depending on the amount of your home. But then you got to factor in, let's say you have an inspection, you have an appraisal, maybe you have a second inspection, right? You have all these different things, and then you got to put all that money down. Well, that becomes a pretty big chunk of change. So in many cases, especially right now, people are having to put down $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 for a home simply just to get it. So it's becoming very difficult at this time. But again, this is something that Democrats and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, they think this could be very beneficial to the American people, and it would provide additional relief to children as well. Now again, I know everything is going to children. And according to Democrats, the reason why children are being targeted the most in all these different bills, and there's more I'm going to get to in just a second. The reason why children are being targeted is because they are our future. They have been very vocal about this. They've been saying this for a little while, is that children are our future. And if we want to compete with countries like China, The only way to do this is to fix our infrastructure and set up our children for success. Now, how do we set up children for success? Well, according to President Biden, we need 4 more years of school. We need 2 more years of pre-K, okay, so preschool. We need 2 more years of that, and we need to mandate it. It has to be a requirement. It cannot be optional like preschool is right now. Also, we need 2 years of community college. And providing 2 years of free community college is what Democrats want to do. This could be a huge boost. 2 years, free community college. However, that would not be optional. Or that would actually be optional, the 2 years. The pre-K, that would be mandatory, but the community college, that would be optional if somebody wants to do that. So that could be a big change as we move forward. Could this make us more competitive against China? It most likely would. More highly educated people and more educated workers would make us more competitive. It would also increase wages, which is something that Democrats want to do as well. And this would just be better for many businesses. As a business owner, I'm not going after people that are just educated and have a Harvard diploma. I don't care about that. But if somebody went to an Ivy League school and they did very well, it would show me that okay, they were committed, they were dedicated, and that's good. That's something I'd want as an employer. But as an employee, you want to be compensated for all that work that you put in. So it's kind of a two-way street here. Now, we also know, in addition to the child tax credits, we also have that American Savers Plan of $9,000, or up to $9,000, and what we're hearing is $8,000 child care credit. This is going to go more for the parents, but this is something that is and this is something that Democrats really want, is let's entice the parents to, let's not send them to the worst daycare center in our area. Let's send our child to the best one. We're going to give them a tax credit, okay? So up to $8,000, which means if you, and I think it's a 50% credit, so you have to spend at least $16,000 and you can get up to $8,000. At least those are the maxes. So right now, that's something that's also being talked about. That's something that's also in the bill as well. Senator Josh Hawley, who's a Republican, he actually proposed a bill that would provide parents, it would be the parent tax credit, and so all parents would receive $12,000 if you are a parent filing jointly. But if you are separated and you're an individual, each parent would get $6,000. This would be just to help out the children. Now, it doesn't matter, and here's the reason why this is a competing proposal, is because this bill is $12,000. So, and that's per year. So this means it's much higher than the $3,000 child tax credit that currently is at, if you're anywhere between the ages of 6 and 17. But here's the reason why this would make sense. This would make sense if many people had children, or more than 4 children. If you have 4 children, you get $12,000 at the end of the year. Well, if you have 5 children, under Josh Hawley's proposal, you would only get $12,000. If you have 20 children, you'd only get $12,000. But if you have 1 child, instead of $3,000, you would get a $12,000 tax credit. So that's where it really has a big impact, is if you have a lot of children, you get less money. But if you only have 1 or 2 or 3 children, you actually get more money. So it's good and bad in both situations. So the reason why I wanted to bring all this up and talk about more stimulus is because many lawmakers are trying to pass additional stimulus. They say we need more. And all this talk on stimulus for children has lawmakers saying that we need to be fair, we need to pass more relief to people without children. Some are also trying to discuss potential plans where we could see more money going to people on Social Security. And I bring this up all the time. I bring up Social Security all the time because there's a lot of people on it. A lot of people. Tens of millions of people are getting Social Security benefits. And a lot of them, it's 100%, this is their main income, their only income. And they are relying on this 100%. That's not good when Social Security is actually, and the benefits to it are actually below the federal poverty line. So people on Social Security, on SSI, SSDI, they are actually being put into a place where they are pretty much sticking themselves under the federal poverty line, which is not great. If you are in poverty, chances are you can't afford even the essentials, not even luxuries. You can't even afford the essentials. Toothpaste, food, water. Maybe you can't even afford to buy the medication that you need to survive and live another day. And that's creating a huge issue. So right now, what I can tell you is that lawmakers are talking with their constituents. Just last week, we heard a lot of senators talking with their constituents back in their home districts, trying to work with them and figuring out what exactly they need. And that's actually really good news. I like to see that. I like to see that lawmakers aren't using their recess, their 2-week long, especially senators, their 2-week long recess for the 4th of July weekend, which is on a Sunday, right? This was 2 days ago, right? But they're still on recess. And to see them sitting at home or on vacation, that's not something that I want to see. Somebody that we taxpayers are paying their salary. What is it? A senator gets like $184,000 per year. That's a pretty good chunk of change for somebody that doesn't work a whole lot. So it's good to see that they're actually working. And one of the things that I noticed over this past week is that, well, okay, they're discussing different plans. They're working with each other. There were some Democrats working with Republicans, obviously working across the aisle, but most of them were working, along party lines. And whatever they're doing right now, honestly, doesn't matter. What matters is what they bring back with them when they finally come back to Washington, which will be next Monday. So we are still a little ways away. Obviously, we're 6 days away from next Monday, so we will see what happens there. But as I know more, I promise I'll fill you in on that update as well. One thing I just want to talk about regarding stimulus checks, okay? And I mentioned this last week, is that California has now approved their second round of $600 stimulus checks. I bring this up for the one main reason, not because the majority of my viewers are from California, because they actually are. I think I have like 21% or something like that of my viewers here on this channel are from the state of California, at least according to YouTube. But the reason why I bring this up is because as California, the biggest state in the country, decides to do different things, other states are going to look into this. Other states will be like, oh, well, California's doing that. Maybe we should do that as well. Well, let's look into it. Let's see what our voters think, right? And so this is where we're going to start to get that push, is with senators back in their home districts. We could potentially see lawmakers start to think about, okay, well, California did this. Our voters were looking into it and be like, well, why aren't we doing that as well? Well, maybe we should. Maybe we should consider something like that. And so we're going to start to get this push from other states, other counties, other cities. They're going to start to implement these different kind of programs where they're going to give their residents a little bit of extra spending money, some stimulus money, some stimulus checks, right? Survival checks, whatever they want to call it. Back to work bonus, it doesn't matter, right? They just want to give them something, but that is only if your state has a surplus of cash. If they don't, then you're kind of out of luck. So there's really not much you can do there. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because right now a lot of people are asking, why is California the only one providing additional stimulus to the American people? Well, the reason why is because they have a huge surplus of cash, right? Their budget is huge. They have money. So their governor, Gavin Newsom, who's actually in a recall election, he's actually trying to, some say he's trying to buy votes. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but some say he's trying to buy votes. I think there's just so much money. California was locked down for so long. I think this is his way of trying to make it right. But who knows? We'll see. But that is what we know right now. As I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching. I don't know if I'm going to do a video later on today. I might not. Simply, I will be traveling a little bit today. So if I'm back in time, I will do another video. If not, I will be back on tomorrow morning as well, like always. So if you have any questions, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing so that I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.